Hi guys, welcome to the channel. Today we would continue from where we left off in our previous video, talking about creating front-end application with the micro-frontend architecture. In the previous video, we talked about how to use micro-frontends to create large-scale application, and we also talked about the detail of what a micro-frontend is actually all about. So if you actually want to know more about that, you can actually go back to the last two videos we made and just refresh your memory of what we talked about over there. So that's been said, today we will be talking about how to integrate Angular into micro frontends. But before we go on, I would like to say special thank you to those of you who subscribe to this channel. This actually helped me to make more videos and gives me more motivation to make more videos. And I would like to say that you should please keep the subscription coming, and if you appreciate what I do here, you can actually just hit the thumbs up button to give me a sign that today, yes, you really appreciate this tutorial, and this actually gives me the motivation to do more. So that being said, let's get started. All right. Okay, like I said, in the last video, we talked about the single SPA for micro frontends, and we created an application, which is a base application. We called it the sample base application, and then we created the React application. And like I said initially, we would be creating the Angular application using single SPA. So to do that, we'll just go straight to business, and we're going to open up this folder right in our terminal. And unlike the previous video whereby I created a React application using create single SPA command, then we selected React and all that, I would be taking a little bit of a different approach towards creating the towards creating a micro frontend with a single SPA. If you recall, I think I'm going to just need to write it. Okay, here is it. If you recall on the previous video when we're creating the React application, we actually need to do this, and then we selected React, Vue, or Angular. So this is just one way of doing it, and I would just like to show us another way whereby you can set up your Angular application using single SPA. So I'm going to terminate this and possibly clear this. Okay, so let's go on now. So to do this, I'm just going to start up a new Angular project like the regular way of starting up any Angular project. I'm going to call this one Angular. I think I'll call this Angular SPA. So I'll press enter to this, and then we'll go through the regular process of installing the Angular application. So here I'm going to be using Angular browsing, and just I'll be using the SCSS. So we're going to wait for this installation to get done, and after that we'll be back. Okay, so the installation of Angular just got done. So what we're going to do next is that we'll have to cd into the new Angular folder that we've just created. And now we're going to add single SPA as a dependency to our Angular application. So to do that, we're going to use the command ng-add. So we're going to say ng-add single SPA Angular. So I'm going to press the enter button, and it's just going to ask me some series of questions. So we'll just go through each and every one of them. So first it's just doing some certain installation, and now it's just asking if I would like to proceed. Am I going to use Angular routing? Yes, I am using Angular routing. And now it's asking me the ports that I would like to serve this particular micro frontend on. So since I'm serving the base one in ports, I think I'm using port 90,000 for that. I forgot the port I used for React, so I'm just going to call this port 9002, and I'll press enter for that. And I think that's going to be all. So I just opened this upon my IDE. Okay, so let's take a look at some of the files that are very important here. So first off, let's take a look at the package.json. So on the package.json, we have the regular things we usually do have in any Angular application, the scripts for starting of a building, and then we have these two scripts here provided for us by the Single-SPA. So these enable us to build the the Single-SPA for production, and these enable us to serve the Single-SPA for local development work. So you can see the port that we chose over here, which is port 9002, is actually stated over here. And just in case you have, for any reason, you have a need to change the port manually, you can always come to change it over here. But there is also somewhere else you need to change as well, which is actually in the angular.json file. You will need to come good over here to the deploy URL and probably change this port as well. So let's see. The next thing we'll be taking a look at here is the app folder. On the app folder, we have two things we need to take note of. The first one is actually this folder here with the empty route component. So this component is just like a placeholder component because it's not really doing any visual functionality. But why it's been placed there is that we are going to route our 404 page over here. And the way Single-SPA works with this particular component is that whatsoever is being directed here is actually being sent back to the root or the base application of Single-SPA, and it actually takes the routing over from there. I'm going to explain that in more detail later on. So let's say we move over to our app routing. For instance, there are actually two things we need to set up here. The first one is going to be a route to our empty route component, I meant to say. So we go this way and we have path. So we'll say that our path is going to be this particular path, which is star, and having a double star is just Angular way of saying 404. So that's just it. So the next we're going to do here is actually components, and the component we want to route this to. The component will want to route any URL which is not found. Any not found URL will be routed to the empty route component. So I'm going to say empty route component in this case, which actually got imported for me over here at the top. So one of the things we'll like to do is to set up our providers. So in our providers, we are going to say, that we're going to provide, and what we're providing in this case is actually an app base href. So we are going to say app base href, okay, and that actually got imported for me as well at the top over here. And I'm going to say in that case it should use the value of, let's see, and the value it's going to use would just be a / over there. So I think I've made a mistake here. This is supposed to be this way. Great. This is supposed to be this way. So what's going on here is that we actually setting the application base href. So that is, I'm going to show you something. So in Angular, if we go over to our index.html, for instance, so you can see we have the base href here. This is actually where should the routing start from? Should it start from here, or should it start from a kind of nested folder kind of approach? So if we wanted to start from another kind of directory, we can just place the directory name over here. But if we wanted to start from the root of the domain, we just leave it this way. So that is also what we are actually declaring here, that everything should start from the root of the domain. So we just need to add this. It's a requirement for Single-SPA. So at this point, we are done setting up the route of this particular Angular application. So what we're going to do next in this case now is to move over to our package.json. Then I'm just going to serve this particular application. So I'll save this now, and that's going to take like a few seconds or a minute to get served. Now there is actually one word thing with Angular when it comes to Single-SPA. When we serve an Angular application in the for Single-SPA, we actually kind of do see a blank screen. And when you get this kind of error, just know it's not technically an error, but when you just see a blank screen, it's actually fine. It doesn't really mean that anything is broken. So I'm going to copy this address and I'll just paste it over here. I'll paste that over here. So just for you to know that this is working, you can see Angular SPA over here, but you won't really see anything on the screen, and that is absolutely fine. But we're going to see that very soon when we actually take this into the base application. So let's go on. So what I'm going to do now in this case, I'm going to open my developer tool. I'll move over to the network tab, then I'm just going to refresh this particular page here. So I have my main.js file, which is actually the main file of Angular whenever you run ng-build actually. So that's the main file. That's probably where every single code gets compiled into. So this is the location of that particular file, and this is the file that we are going to be adding to our Single-SPA base or root application. So I'm going to move over to my base application, and I would open this. So this is our base application, and I would just quickly move into let's say the source folder, and we'll move into the index.js file. So scroll down to this particular place. Okay, great. So moving down to this other side, this is the area whereby we need to import the URL we just copied from this particular place. We're going to import it over here. So I'm just going to place a comma over here, and I would duplicate this line and just change some certain things. So let's copy this again. We'll copy this, place it over here, and I'll call this Angular, and I would also call this Angular project. So remember that this is actually the app name, what we are naming the app from the Single-SPA perspective, like the unique identifier of the Angular application. So this needs to be unique. So in this case, I'm just going to add this particular Angular application. I'm going to add it up in our micro-frontend HTML, which is actually our layout. And over here, if you could remember the last video, we actually worked with React. So we made the React side the navigation application, and now I'm just going to place this within our route. So first off, I would just do application. I'm going to copy this again, and I'm going to paste this here. Okay, so I'm just going to paste this over here. All right, so I think this is looking good now. So what we just need to do next is to serve this application. So go to my package JSON, and I'm just going to run starts for this particular application. So let's see how that goes. So I guess that's served. So I'm just going to refresh this particular page, and here we go. We have our Angular application, which is actually not displaying over here. Even if I refresh, we have it displaying over here. So whenever you see a white screen like this for Angular, you have nothing to worry about. Just go ahead and do what you need to do, and rest assured that it's going to show up over here. So that's just it anyways. And if you remember, yesterday we actually have a React application. So let's quickly serve our React application as well. So I would go over to my package JSON, and I'm just going to serve the standalone. So I'm just going to run this. So our React application could also come alive as well. So can you see the beauty of micro front end in this case? Because the React application would not even come on except I turn it on. So it simply means that we can just turn off a specific feature of application and turn on another feature of application at any time. And this can be very, very useful in a situation whereby we probably have an application on production, and for one reason or the other, a particular feature is actually having an issue. We don't have to pull down the entire website or to redeploy the entire website. We just need to turn off um, the particular application that's having an issue, or probably we can just put a message in the application that currently undergoing maintenance or anything we want to say in that particular application without affecting the remaining application. So this is actually the best use case of a micro frontend to me. That's even what's more than the ability to use different framework to develop one application. If I will be developing a micro frontend in some situations, I might even use just one framework, but with different application to build a micro frontend. So that's just the beauty, anyways, of the micro frontend. So let's go on. Let's refresh this page, and we're going to see our sidebar application from the React application. Now, for some reasons, Angular application is actually styled to have all these so many z-index overlays and all that, but we're just going to change that right now. So we'll move over to our Angular application again, which is this. We'll move to the HTML. I really don't have intention of using routes, so I'm just going to remove everything, including router outlets. So I would just say h1, and I would say this is the Angular application. Oh, I never knew I wasn't typing. Okay. Okay, so I will say this is the Angular application. Right, great. So I'm going to save that now, and I'm going to refresh this page, and let's see. We have it over here. This is the Angular application. Now we can still see this is a React application running over here, and this is an Angular application running over here. So that's just how this works, and this is how to set up an Angular application for the micro frontend. So that's it for this particular video. I'll see you all in the next video where we'll set up a new application, a new Single-SPA application for Vue.js. So that's it for now. Please remember to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up if you consider it useful. So that's it for now. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.